Hello and welcome to Wrestle Time. Long time no see, like 2 years, and at 2.5 years actually, because I think I made the channel 2.5 years ago and posted just about the G2 Supercard. That was a long time ago. Um, but decided to get back into it, and of course, All In just finished up. So, what better? There's no better way of getting into it than watching All Out take place. Anyways, so yeah, or that was an interesting pay per view, to say the least. I'll be completely honest and say that it may have been AEW's weaker ones that they've ever put together. Easily one of AEW's weakest pay per views. Not bad, and honestly, I'd argue that it was a little bit better than some of WWE's latest pay per views, even at its worst. But, well, how I'm going to do this is just one take. This probably isn't normally how it's going to be, but because it's the first video back on the channel and I'm lazy, I kind of want to get this done. And because there's a lot of shit I'm going to talk about that I'm passionate about and just is stupid. I mean, there's so many stupid shit that happened from the company that they decided that they were okay with that happened this pay per view that I kind of want to talk about it, because if I don't, I feel like it's a little bit dumb. So yeah. Anyways, let's start out with the first match on the card, which is Baker versus Swole, Big Swole. That started out. It's a cinematic match. In what I'm pretty sure kayfabe was supposed to be Britt Baker's dental. Sorry, I keep looking up. I keep looking at myself. I should probably look down here so it looks better. It started out as her, but then if I do that, you can't see my eyes. Well, I guess you can't see my eyes anyways. Oh well. We'll do this. Yeah, it was Britt Baker and Big Swole. This match was okay. Shouldn't do that because I need my glasses to see. I'm fucking stupid. Um, yeah, it was weird. You could tell they were limited in some of the spots because they were doing it in a dental practice. So you're doing it on very narrow hallways, and there's not a lot you can do other than hit each other with different foreign objects. However, the Narcan shot to Britt Baker's thigh was a pretty gruesome, brutal spot. I'm glad it was a show opener and we just got it out of the way right away. It was definitely the weakest match on this card, even with the shit that happened early or later on the card. So 1 out of 5. It was really nothing special. It was a filler match, if you even want to call it that. They could have done better, and I think it would have been better if it was in the ring. It would have definitely been better if it was in the ring and not a cinematic match. Not much to say. 1 out of 5. Bucks versus Bucks versus what? Drastic. I always forget the name of their tag team. Um, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. It was really good. It was a very good. Not very good. It was pretty good tag team match. 3 out of 5. Your average tag team match for uh, especially after that. It was a good comeback. It was a forgettable tag team match because nothing was on the line. So looking back, no one's gonna know what happened in this match. But the Bucks had actually good heel work. You could see them getting a little bit more aggressive. They're definitely teasing a heel turn, and I hope it comes. Other than that, solid match. Not much to talk about. Gave it a 3 out of 5. It was your average normal match. And my rating system is out of 5 stars. 3 being average, anything below it being below average, and everything above it being above average. You're gonna see a lot of 2.5s, so 3s this pay per view because it was not the best AEW pay per view. Anyways, Casino Royale. Oh boy. So this was like bootleg Royal Rumble where you would have groups of 4 come out every, I think, like minute and a half, 2 minutes. So it was very Royal Rumble-y, and even the end, shot at AEW title, very Royal Rumble-like. That was the template that they worked off of. Obviously not a WrestleMania, main event, uh, um, not main event, but WrestleMania title shot, but close to it. The way AEW does their pay-per-views are all pretty big. So, yeah, that was a stipulation for the winner. Uh, there was some good points in this. Darby Allin's thumbtack bump was, oh my god, the dude's insane, and if he's not out of this business in 10 years, I'll be shocked. The bumps the man's been taking, I swear to god, he is gonna wreck his body. But that's a different discussion for a different time. It was an awesome bump. It was an awesome spot. So that itself was interesting. Um, so and then we get to the bad. There wasn't really a lot of good. It was kind of boring. Just all of it. A lot of people doing a lot of bumps. With the winner being kind of predictable. You could really. It was going to be like 3 people that had a shot at winning it. You could kind of tell that going in. But anyways, we'll get to what I wanted to talk about, and that is AEW had their Shockmaster moment with Matt Sydal coming out of the coming out as the wild card debut. Big surprise, big well, I guess a pop. You couldn't really hear the crowd because of social distance, which is fine. 15% occupancy, good. That's good. Anyways, so what happened was he came out. Crowd pops a little. He knees somebody. I forget who it was, but I know he threw a knee, and then climbs up on to the top rope to do airborne the shooting star press, and just slips, literally jumps and slips halfway through, and actually saved himself by kind of leaning. You gotta watch the botch. He could have easily died, and it was definitely a Shockmaster moment, and I couldn't believe it watching. I can't remember watching a botch that big and that prominent in a long time. So yeah, that scared the shit out of me when that happened. But he botched, and then we're all good. So yeah, I guess. Anyways, so that took over Twitter and will be on the next Botchamania. I'm sure of it, because he botched hard. And I'm only laughing because he's okay, because he could have literally broken his neck. It was a terrible, terrible, terrible botch. Anyways, yeah, other than that, and then after that, fireworks went off somewhere next to Daly's place, which, only made everything better after the Seidel botch. And then finally, it came down to Kingston, Archer, and Seidel. Seidel got eliminated, and then Kingston got eliminated, which meant Lance Archer wins and has an AEW championship opportunity. And I didn't think about this until someone pointed it out. I think I was in the Reddit thread of the match on r/squared circle. But you kind of knew who was going to win the match later in the night for the AEW championship, the World Championship, because it was a heel. So they kind of, I don't know, it was weird. They kind of threw this match in, and you kind of knew who was going to win. Anyways, yeah, besides that, I gave it a 2.7 out of 5. It wasn't terrible. I definitely think that Seidel botch is going to it's going to ruin everybody's taste of that match, but also had good stuff like Darby Allin taking bumps. So, win some, you lose some. The bump, ugh, just not the bump, the botch. Ugh. Anyways, Hardy versus Guevara. Oh god, this was a broken rules match. It started in the stadium, and originally when I saw it start in the stadium, I went, fuck, I hope the whole thing's not in the stadium, because that would really suck, having 2 matches not around the crowd, or not around the open air arena, when you actually have a crowd for the pay-per-view. But, it happens. So anyways, actually, it turns out the planned finish wasn't gonna be in the stadium, so it's okay. But so the match starts out, they're in the stadium, and then of course the first bump they take together was, well, actually the second bump, because Guevara took a bump on a picnic table, a DDT on a picnic table, and then they get to a lift, like you would see at Home Depot to get to the top planks on the top of the shelf. They go up on that lift, and Guevara is supposed to spear Matt Hardy off of the lift and onto two of the breakaway tables, or just two, normal tables, set on the floor. Well, they completely they cleared it. Hardy cleared it by half a body and slammed his head on the concrete floor. And he knocked himself out instantly, and he got a concussion. Well, the wonderful thing is, we're 10 seconds into this match. We're like a minute, probably, I'm not even gonna joke, we're like 2 minutes into this match. And Hardy already knocked himself out on the floor. And you could just tell as soon, the referee goes to check, and you can just tell as soon as it happens that he's done for, the match should not continue. And somehow, Hardy wills himself up before 10, and then we get to watch him stumble onto Guevara, and and he's clearly concussed. The man is clearly concussed. He falls over, stumbles. Finally, the X is thrown up, and the doctor comes out to check on him. Well, the man is severely concussed, probably doesn't know where he's at, is somehow still maintaining character, and says he's alright. So the doctor fucking clears the man. The man just smacked it, probably busted his skull open on concrete, got sent to the hospital after this match is over, so he's obviously not okay, and they send him on with the match. They let him continue. And that in its own that is just terrible. But then they let him, these guys stumble all the way to the finish spot, which is Guevara is supposed to fly off into, the airbags, Shane McMahon style, onto these airbags and lose. Well, they do that, but they let a concussed Matt Hardy, who, remind you, couldn't even get up from the bump he took onto the concrete, climb up this stanchion to push Guevara off so Guevara could do this Shane McMahon style bump. Oh my god. I don't understand how a company can let this happen to their talent and not call it. There's easy writing in the storyline to get out of this for Matt Hardy. And that is, the referees, when he's cleared to come back, the referees screwed me over, I could continue, and the referees called the match. There's the storyline, so he doesn't have to leave AEW. You can throw that stipulation out when shit like this comes up. So that happens. Oh, it was just so bad. It's terrible. And then you have the commentators coming back and trying to justify why the doctor cleared him the entire rest of the pay-per-view as the man was sent to a hospital. I got up and thought I was worked, but as you could tell, Matt Hardy fucking was not there. I thought I got worked when they called it back on. Nope. No, Matt Hardy was concussed and he went to the hospital. They rushed through that. It was awful. It was just awful, and after the Seidel botch, you watched two people that almost died. It killed the crowd. It killed my mood for the pay-per-view, and the fact that this pay-per-view went on for 4 hours just, ugh. I think that's the real problem. I think a lot of people are really, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyways, after the Hardy Guevara match was Shida versus Thunder Rosa. This was a really, really good match. They had a good opening sequence. Even though Thunder Rosa almost concussed herself on the steps, I think it was a Meteora, and it was on, because the way they have the stage, there's really little room before the ring and the first step up to the stage. So Thunder Rosa almost caught, a concussion against the step. So that could have been bad. The kick out at one spot that they did was pretty dope. And then Shida won. It was a good, solid match. I gave it a 3.75 out of 5. It's really probably a 4 out of 5 if I go back and watch it. It was such a nice change of pace from what we saw with the Casino Royale and the Hardy versus Guevara match, and then the Big Swole Britt Baker match, which the Britt Baker Big Swole match will be forgotten in just this insane pay-per-view for many reasons, and not a lot of good ones. There was a wedding announcement between the Shida and Rosa match for Wednesday Night Dynamite. with Penelope Ford. Uh, yeah, and they threw shade at WWE with the whole WWE Twitch and not allowing third party interactions anymore. Which I will have a video coming out of that too because I am very passionate about that whole thing. But that's not here nor there. I enjoyed the shade. It needed to happen. Um, yeah. So after the wedding announcement and the Shade Throne, we got the 8-man tag match with I think it was the Nightmares versus the Dark Order. This was a dynamite match. I don't know why they threw it on the card. It was such filler, and really there's no need for filler because this pay per view already went to 12 o'clock or about 12 o'clock. I think it ended up at like 11:30. So there was just no reason to do this match. So yeah, it was boring. It was an average match. I gave it 2.75 out of 5. Jr. made a wardrobe malfunction comment about one of the Dark Order's female um members. Sorry, I forget her name. Uh bad me, bad research. But yeah, that Twitter blew up, and yeah, it was pretty stupid for Jr. to say. There's a lot of just stupid commentary comments. Um, so it just made a shit night even worse. For AEW, and I don't when I say shit night, this pay per view was not bad. It was just the highlights of this pay per view will be the botches and Matt Hardy almost dying. Well, both Seidel almost dying and Hardy almost dying. Those two will be the highlights of the night. So it's a shit night for AEW because they look bad. The pay per view in itself, though, was not that bad. It was a solid pay per view, especially towards the end. The final couple of hours were fine because, yeah. One storytelling thing though from the 8-man tag was a Cabana Uno moment where Cabana lost the match for the Dark Order, so Uno came out and got yelled at by Brody Lee. So Uno came out and kind of like consoled him. That was kind of I don't know. It's almost like foreshadowing. There may be a breakup there or a split there, which would be interesting. But anyways, after the 8-man tag was FTR versus Omega and Page, solid match, 3.84 out of 5, type style match. I was going into this expecting Omega and Page to lose so they could advance the Elite Falling Apart storyline, and they did. Page tagged in and like straight away tagged because he wanted in. And yeah, it was great by FTR, great holds, old style. It was a good wrestling match. Is what I'll put it up to. It was paced well. There was good pacing, but then it went over because they got given the Matt Hardy, Guevara time, and it kind of went too long. I will say that the finish was kind of odd. I thought I was looking for more flash, and I didn't get that, but it was still. I mean, 2 pile drivers to Page was fine the way to end it, and I think it was a good end to the title ring. So I'm not gonna complain. The V trigger on Page was also really good storytelling towards the end, which kind of led to the 2 pile drivers. So yeah, good. It was a good tag match, and the pay per view so desperately needed it. Next was Jericho versus Cassidy. There was nice spots being worked around the vat. Close falls, even though I will say this, having this whole stipulation and then also counting pinfalls and submissions was kind of I didn't get that. I thought you should really have only lost by going into the vat. I thought, I don't know, if you're gonna make a stipulation, stick to it. So anyways, that was the only thing I was like, about. Crowd is actually into it. Now, the crowd had been struggling because we almost saw 2 people die. So, yeah. So it was interesting. Very, 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 very interesting. So, yeah. Crowd was actually into it. They kind of botched the code breaker, even though it didn't really. It may have not been a botch, and it may have just been a sloppy code breaker, but the code breaker on Orange Cassidy was pretty Anyways, yeah. Ended with Cassidy Superman punching uh, Jericho into the vat. It was a good match, 3 out of 5. Average match. Nothing big that popped out to me and thought, oh wow, this is good. It was a good match. And then finally we have MJF versus John Moxley. What a match to end it. It was a great match. 4 out of 5 match. Great fucking match. Good heel work by MJF, slowing things down, making the crowd hate him. He is such a good heel. Probably the top heel in he is the top heel in AEW, but I hope he stays there. There's this great heel work. He bladed, I think. I'm almost positive he bladed when he hit his head on the pole, so we had the Crimson Mask. A lot of fighting outside, going into the barriers. A lot of fun in-ring work, a lot of fun spots. And it ended, and the ending was probably the most memorable spot, and the spot I love the most. It ended with the ref being distracted, and Moxley hitting the paradigm shift on MJF while the ref is distracted, so Moxley being a smart babyface and cheating practically, but MJF was going to cheat with the ring. So it all made sense in the end. But it also shows that Moxley can play heel if he has to. I mean, I don't know. So yeah, that was that, and that was AEW. That was AEW All Out. A interesting pay-per-view. Guys need to stop doing stupid ass bumps for no goddamn reason. And I'm gonna get into a small rant. Matt Hardy should not be taking a bump off of that at his age, and Sammy Guevara should actually protect himself, because Guevara and Darby Allin are both gonna be just fucking shot by the time they're 40, because they've been taking all these bumps in AEW. It's like fucking CZW, dude, at this point. They're just taking bump after bump after bump after bump, and it's insane. And it's going to wear down their body, and I'm kind of scared, because I want to see more of them. I don't mind them bumping like that if it's, few and far between. But, yeah. So that was my review of AEW. I'm glad to be back on Wrestle Time. It's exciting. I'll be doing. I'll see what I want for content. I may just do reviews. I may not. Who knows? In news. But yeah, it's been a Wrestle Time post show, and bye bye.